Hello everyone, welcome back to Ingram Orchids and More. And if you wanted more sandy content, ta-da! So this segment, we have a very interesting video. It's not anything that we've done before. And I don't really see a lot of YouTube videos discussing this stuff. I mean, very little, to be honest.
I've seen a couple like here and there, but there's never, well, I shouldn't use ultimatum words like that, but I haven't seen a whole lot of like widespread content. Like it's definitely niche within a niche.
Yes. So I think you kind of have to like dive down the YouTube rabbit hole to like discuss this stuff. So a lot of the people who are following YouTubers when it comes to orchids, it's truly talking about the plants, but there's a whole new world within it. So we're going to be talking about that today, and we're going to be talking about
orchids in pop culture and arts and literature.
And we are coming to you live, sort of.
Live, sort of.
Live right now. Will be posted soon. But we are in Sandy's, I want to say cockpit.
I mean, it is. It's where I spend most of my time. This is my office, where I work with my day job and where I do all of my illustrations. Sometimes some repotting if I'm feeling a little bit like I need to do it immediately and I don't have time to walk to my porch.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you guys, I'm sitting here and it just looks like a Pinterest board. There's orchids blooming in front of me, and she has just decorated these shelves so well. So we're gonna talk about the orchids that are in bloom right now and a little bit of her setup, and then we'll start discussing orchids in pop culture. Let's do it. I love that one.
You do.
And I love that one too.
Love all of them.
Let's talk about the orchids in Sandy's office.
I have a lot of orchids in here.
Yes.
Usually if they're blooming and they're fragrant, I will bring them in here so I can smell them while I'm working. This one especially, this is Encyclia Cordillera Randii. This one is extremely fragrant. It's been blooming, for probably March, April, May, June, 3 months. It's extremely fragrant. It smells like jasmine tea to me. And it had 3 spikes and they were all blooming at once. It's kind of at the tail end of it now, but it would fill this entire office. And this is probably a 10 by 10 square room, and it would, in the middle of the day, usually around 11, 12, the heat from the window would just help it really explode that fragrance into the room. It was lovely.
Encyclias just smell so good in general. I haven't met one that I didn't like, except for that one that grows on our Robolini palm and smells like feet, but it's okay. Which you liked it. You smelled it yesterday.
I didn't think it smelled like feet. It smelled like sour roses to me. But like if there was like a sour candy that was rose flavored, that's what it was for me.
Okay. I think, see, you sided with Tristan on that one. Yes. You just have we all have different noses. But this was really pretty. It looks like a cartoon character almost. Like when I look at it, it just is so funky. I love it.
They all are really happy in here. I don't know what it is about this room. I think it's probably the really bright light and the controlled temperature, but my phals do really, really great in here. Usually they're covered in honeydew. Sometimes the honeydew will even start coming out of the leaves. They really like it. This phal has been in bloom for months. It just won't stop. And the blooms themselves are lasting a long time, and it will form new blooms as well.
So beautiful. I love the veining on this one. It's just like the perfect shade of pink.
I think it actually has a tag.
Ooh.
Yeah, it does.
Let us see.
Ganlin, pink red lip.
There it is. I love it. That is beautiful.
From the one and only Palmer Orchids.
Boop, boop. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
I love that. It just looks so good with the curtain. I love that.
This was a $5 Amazon buy that I got specifically to diffuse the light in this room. I also have another one that I used kind of as like a light diffuser on my porch, but the wind kind of bit into it and it has some holes, but Still effective.
You know what? That's okay. Gosh.
We could do this little guy.
Oh my gosh. Would you say this is your newest acquisition?
Yes, it is. I actually don't even know the name of it. It's so new. Paphiopedilum tyanum crossed with sibling.
A little miniature slipper orchid. It is so cute, you guys. It is just...
Yeah, to show how tiny it really is.
Yeah, this thing is so tiny. And it's got the mottled leaves, so when it's done blooming, she'll have a foliage plant. It is so cute. It's hard to find white slippers, honestly.
Oh, did you see the inside?
Dropping your balls.
I'm dropping my balls. The inside is purple.
Oh my gosh. I love that. So cute.
That was the selling point for me. Oh, look, hold it up to the light. You can see right through it. It looks like an egg.
Let me see. There we go. Look at that, you guys. That is so cool. It's so cute. It doesn't even look real.
I know. I couldn't pass it up because it was just the teeniest, weeniest little guy I had ever seen. And it almost looks like a sculpture of an orchid.
I love it.
I got this from Kroll Smith.
Very cool.
This is another Kroll Smith. This is Cattleya Zip. I don't know.
What a fun name.
Yeah. I don't know the cross parents for this. Typically they're like orange and purple, but this one was a really, really nice deep red with that purple lip. I do believe Tenebrosa is in its heritage.
Oh yeah. Tenebrosa is one of my absolute favorites. It's a primary hybrid. And we know what that means. We crossed two species together.
Yes.
Cattleya tenebrosa crossed with Cattleya milleri. So that's where a lot of the red comes from, is milleri. That's one of the seedlings I got at Redlands. Was milleri. Yeah. So this is really pretty, you guys. Very red. Like almost, it's almost crimson, to be honest. Very beautiful. And then you get it in the light and it's rojo red. I love the lip too. That lip is Tenebrosa all the way. So that is gorgeous. Another angle, you guys. This is beautiful.
Yep, oh, Lacey, look at all the honeydew.
Oh my gosh.
Pro tip, you can eat the honeydew if you really want to. I have done it. It was a fun little experiment.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is flavored like the scent of the orchid. I did do it with that Encyclia Cordillera.
Yes.
Randii, and it was delicious. It tasted like a jasmine tea syrup. Have not been able to replicate it again since, but loved it. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Unless you just sprayed it down with some kind of pesticide, then maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
But these guys don't have any pesticides on them since they live inside. And they've made it through their quarantine period, so nobody's got anything.
Yes. Which is good.
Ooh, look at this little guy.
I love how little it is.
I know.
If you like pink and you like cute.
And eeny weeny, truly teeny tiny little baby.
Love that. It is so cute, you guys.
This is Cattleya Tiny Treasure Star Amethyst, HCC AOS. Crossed with Cattleya harrisoniana Volcano Queen Mutation.
Ooh. HCC award is a really good one. So that's nice.
I really wanted Jupiter drops, but they didn't have any, so this was the next closest thing. Jupiter drops, very similar, except the lip does not have that dark purple, and the whole thing is yellow.
Yeah. It almost looks like that QF mantra you got. Like just the same shade of pink.
Yes.
I love that.
I love my minis.
It is very cute. Doesn't take up much room. It's super beautiful. And is it fragrant?
Not right now. Well, yeah.
A little bit.
It kind of smells like honey, like dusty honey.
Yes.
This is...
So Brassicatlia.
Okay.
So BC is Brassicatlia. So Brassivola and Cattleya combined into their own genus, Cordelia. And that is really cool. It is very ruffly. Let me see if we can get another angle here. That's really pretty. That is a very big flower too.
Yes.
Very star-shaped, very ruffly lip. So you dig Biana lovers, You like the ruffly lip? That's a good thing.
And I love anything star-shaped too. This is Intermedia by Tigbayana.
Very cool.
And I like both of those. So it seemed like a fitting option to take home.
Yes.
And this is from Autumn's Orchids, or Odom's.
Odom's, yeah.
Odom's Orchids.
Where are they? Fort Pierce, Florida?
Pierce.
Okay. Where did you get that at?
I got this at the Central Florida Orchid Society show and sale.
So last weekend, yeah? I think? No.
Oh, was it really last weekend? It feels like so long.
When you go shopping for orchids, it's just so long ago.
It's truly so long. I am just aching for another fix.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, I have to show you her shelves because this is just, oh, I love it so much. I seriously tell her all the time when she texts me pictures of her collection and her office, I'm like, please make a Pinterest board and everybody will follow it. And it's just the aesthetic you want to live by.
Oh.
So over here, you want to start with this one, Sandy? So
yes. That, I believe, is Violacea cerulea, if not one of its hybrids.
I am seeing that, yes. Very cute. And this guy right here.
That is Phalaenopsis sanderiana, and you know, since my name is Sandy, I had to have it.
Yes. And then also, I just like the little cute little kitties. So cute. Okay, this one.
That is Phalaenopsis Nagasaki, I believe.
Very cool.
It has a very fragrant flower. It's hard to describe the shape. If you toss a picture in.
I will.
But it's kind of like leopardy, but pink and yellow, has freckles. Love it.
I'm gonna take your tag. Doo, 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 doo. Very cool. This one right here with the mottled leaf.
Phalaenopsis schilleriana.
Okay.
Love her.
Very beautiful.
Love the fragrance too.
We got them at the same time, right?
I think so. I got that at
Curlsmith's International
Apopka,
Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. And this one right here with the baby.
Oh gee, I don't remember who she is. She's a Sinying cross, and it's a fragrant miniature fowl.
Why are all of your tags broken?
Listen.
Phalaenopsis. Singing Peach Sweet. So it's crossed with something. I'm not sure if it's named. We'll figure it out.
It smells a little bit like Twizzlers.
Ooh.
It's a pretty pink flower with some little speckles and like a yellow center, and then the lip looks like sunset.
Ooh. You can pop this off. You'll have another one.
I was waiting for the roots to grow a little bit.
I mean, they're 3 inches.
Okay. I was scared.
Yeah.
Didn't want to separate
You're
you.
a mom. And then we got another one in bloom right here.
That is a no ID fowl I picked up from Orchids in Bloom in Orlando. I really like the carnivorous and maybe even poisonous looking spots on it. I really love the weird fowls that look like they might be something else, a little bit more deceptive.
Yes.
Like they might be a little dangerous.
I love that.
But I mean, I love basic fowls too. I have a lot of white fowls that you probably saw in the previous video.
Oh, yes.
Just hanging out on my porch.
I love it. I love it. Got a Hoya. A Hoya?
Oh yeah! That's just a regular pubicalyx? Pubicalyx? I don't know, however you want to say it.
Funny words, funny words, funny words. Okay.
That's...
We got an in bud.
Chief Bear or Beer Queen, I'm not sure.
Beer Queen sounds right. Yeah.
She's just a really hot pink, vibrant fuchsia fowl.
That's exciting.
And then the one next to it is just a white fowl. I think it's from IKEA.
Well, I didn't even know IKEA had Phalaenopsis.
Oh yeah, they do. They are about as well kept as the ones in Publix, but they live a long time. I've had that one for probably about 7 years.
I just love that orchid. And then this shelf, you guys.
That's Miss Boris.
Miss Boris.
Lady Boris.
Yeah. Does your friend have stuffed animals on their shelf? Let me know. An orchid that will never die. Some more Neo-Phoenicia pots. And the really cool bugs.
I love my bugs. I mounted those 2 on the end. They're not the best, but not bad for my first ones.
That's really good.
It's very tedious, but I guess if you're somebody that has experience with a lot of like minuscule movements and dexterity, it's not so bad. Like if you're an illustrator, it probably wouldn't be very hard for you, or if you're a sculptor, but if you're not fine-tuned with your hands, it might be fairly difficult. So I won't say it was easy, but also it was kind of easy. But I'm sure any professional, is it entomology, or is that the study of words? I always get them backwards.
Ooh, we'll look it up.
The professional bug
people
would probably be like, that is the worst job I've ever seen in my entire life. Boo. But I'm proud of it.
Somebody
I
who's
did it.
never done it. It looks great.
Thank you.
And this is real. I just think this is so cool. Like, I think bugs and plants go well together. So there is a stuffed pigeon up there.
Oh yeah, I love her. My goal is to have a whole bunch of them. So if anybody has a taxidermy pigeon hookup, please let me know. My goal is to have a whole bunch of them and have an installation art piece of them swarming a box of French fries that I plan to sculpt out of ceramic clay and fire. I would love to have that as an art installation in my home.
Yes.
So once again, if you have a hookup for a taxidermy pigeon, let me know.
Drop a comment down below. Let us know, because I know there's someone like you out there.
They're out there.
They're out there. We just have to find them. And then, y'all, look how talented my friend is. Do you see this?
That is Darwinara Charm Blue Star.
Oh, she painted it watercolor, right?
It's actually colored pencil.
Colored pencil? Oh my gosh, y'all. This is beautiful. And then we have some Aaron Apsley.
Oh yeah, you know I got my Aaron.
Ooh!
Love his stuff.
Aaron, if you're watching, we love you.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. We love you and Kathryn.
Oh, her name is Kathryn too.
Yeah, she's got a good name. She's got a good name. I love it. Awesome. Okay. And then she has this other stuffed cat that moves. This is Bug.
Bug?
Hello. We had the snip.
He said, I'm a bad man. I eat plants.
He's part of the night court. If you know, you know. Hey.
He's got pretty good tattoos.
I love it. So, to keep you interested, we had to show you the real orchids before we start talking about them in literature, where you have to use your imagination and all that fun stuff. That was Sandy's office tour of what's in bloom. It was very cool. She's got the cool stuff. She's got the hookup. So, thank you for showing us that. So, now we get to pick her brain. I don't have time to read all this stuff, and she gets to live my dream and read all this cool stuff about orchids and how they're incorporated into everyday lives, or fashion and literature and in the media, essentially. So pop culture in general. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm so infatuated with it. Like, you ever just stayed up late in your bed and you're just scrolling, and then you go down those rabbit holes, and then you're like, oh, because I think the first thing that we're going to address for the people who are watching, because I'm going to consider this pop culture in a way, because you ever go to the store
all
and
the time.
You get...
Which one? Girl, I got all
No, you ever go to the grocery store and you get something that's vanilla flavored?
Yes.
And it's not a vanilla flower. I have beef with that. I have beef with these companies' marketing teams, because it's not really a vanilla.
No. It's as I actually work in packaging, and luckily at my company, the most recent packaging with a vanilla blossom on it, I was consulted, because I do not shut up about orchids at my job. Ever.
You will know.
You'll know.
You will know about orchids.
And if you even bring it up, I'm taking over that meeting, and it is now about orchids. But yeah, usually with a lot of packaging, the correct vanilla blossom is not featured on the package at all. Typically, it will be a white phalaenopsis, or a cymbidium is another one that I see very often.
Sometimes dendrobiums too.
Or a phalaenopsis that's been warped so much it looks like a dendrobium.
It's not even botanically accurate. It's just
So next time you're at the grocery store, take a look at those products with the vanilla flower on them and see if you can clock which one is the real OG.
Yes. Actually got to see a real vanilla flower in person, and it was vanilla pompona, which is one of the species that grows well here, and it was blooming at the nursery. So I just want to show you what that flower looks like. Not anything that you see on food packaging at all.
Actually,
or you have.
Not food packaging, but Bath and Body Works did produce a label for a vanilla and cedar, I believe, bubble bath that did have the correct blossom on it. So shout out to the designers at Bath and Body Works. Whoever figured that out, finally. Thank you. All orchid enthusiasts, thank you. I literally bought it because it was the only product I'd ever seen that had the correct blossom on it.
I bet that smells good too, because I love the smell of cedar. But like, oh.
It's fine. It doesn't smell like it doesn't smell like an orchid.
Okay.
But they are notoriously difficult to replicate, so
just hire Sandy to do your branding for Botanically Accurate.
I mean, yeah, you could.
Her contact information's down below, so just dollar maker holla.
I mean, we could transition to another paper good literature.
Okay. Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so a couple orchid pieces of writing that kind of stick out to me. There's one that's pretty famous, which I believe it's by H.G. Wells, called The Flowering of the Strange Orchid, and this is set in kind of like Victorian era times. It's a short story. You could probably find it for free online somewhere as a PDF. I know I did.
Yes.
But it's it's a very silly little story about this man who he lives a very unexciting life, or so he thinks. And he pretty much, his only form of excitement is purchasing plants.
Can you relate?
Yeah. And he becomes very obsessed with orchids, as one does. And he goes to this auction, he purchases this plant, and it has two big fat bulbs on it. And he is absolutely enthralled by these bulbs. However, his housekeeper, not a fan. She thinks it's super creepy. She does not like it. She doesn't even like to be in the same room as it.
Is it haunted?
She's like, go put that thing out in the greenhouse. Go hang out with it. I'm not messing with that.
Oh my gosh.
So he goes out there and he's spending all his time like, when is it gonna bloom? When is it gonna bloom? When is it gonna bloom? The bulbs keep getting bigger. Again, can you relate?
Yes, I can.
So it finally blooms, and he's out there in the greenhouse, and he sees it, and then he smells it. And I'm assuming it's a cattleya. That's what it sounded like when they described it. But it's this huge frilly flower that is emitting this intense, like intoxicating fragrance to the point where it kind of makes him a little hazy, and he is kind of like stumbling towards the plant. And eventually he kind of like passes out on the ground, and he feels these kind of little fingies touching his face. And spoiler alert, the plant is vampiric, so the story's been out for 200 years, so if you haven't read it, spoiler alert. Its roots act like little vampire teeth, and it sucks the blood out of his face, and it almost drains him dry. And he wakes up and kind of like rips him off and stumbles out, and then his housekeeper finds him, and she's losing her mind. She's absolutely freaking out.
I told you.
Yeah, she's like, I knew that thing was wrong. I don't know what it is, but it is messed up. Something ain't right. So
she your housekeeper?
Yeah, I think she sets the greenhouse on fire, or she like breaks it down or something. It was like one of those glass.
Throws garlic at her orchid.
Yeah. So it dies.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately. And he walks away with one of the most exciting experiences of his life, and he no longer feels like he has a boring life.
I would just be like, you see some of these orchids and they look so wicked sometimes. Like, I can totally get those vibes. I wonder if the author has discussed what type of orchid it is. I would want to know.
I don't know. They probably say like straight up what it is, but it just says the strange orchid. So, but I'm assuming it's probably a cattleya.
Yeah.
Especially like with the intoxicating fragrance.
Yes. Because every time, like, I know typically slippers are not fragrant, but I look at them and they look carnivorous. Like, if I didn't know anything about them, like, they look like they could eat you.
Yes.
But when you say roots, I think of Vandas, too. And I'm like, oh my God, could you imagine a Vanda root just strangling you?
Yes.
Because
it has happened.
It happens sometimes in the greenhouse.
They like how they get caught in your hair and they're kind of like tugging.
Yes. And they get tangled together. Yeah, no.
It's a little spooky.
It's a little spooky.
There's a big spider coming down the window outside. Ooh.
I'm glad it's outside, because if it was inside,
I hope it doesn't come inside.
I would take Bug and be like, get it!
Oh my God, yeah, snack.
Snack.
The other one, I don't remember the author, but it is called The Purple Terror. Love the name. 10 out of 10.
Purple Terror.
It's another short story about scary orchids. This one is carnivorous instead of vampiric, but, you know, I guess tomato.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about this. He has some position in the military. He goes to Cuba. Yes, by Fred M. White.
Okay, Purple Terror by Fred M. White.
Yes. I believe he goes to Cuba and he sees this beautiful girl dancing in the local tavern, and she has this big array of like huge purple fragrant flowers on her dress, and he's all about that. He's like, the dance was nice, but also, wow, the plants.
Yeah.
And he asks the local, where do I get those? So he's like, all right, you know, I'll take you out there tomorrow. We can go. He's like, awesome. So they go. And eventually they come across this skeleton hoisted up in the tree. And they're like, oh, like someone probably went up there and got tangled in the vines trying to get the flower. Like that one is so out of the way anyway. We'll go deeper into the jungle and we'll find one that's more accessible. So they camp next to the skeleton and somehow ignore it, looming over them in the tree. And then I believe that night, or maybe the next night, he sees one of the people in the camp sleeping, and they're like rising up off of the ground, suspended by these long, slimy green tendrils.
I see a pattern happening.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's the plant. It's carnivorous. The flowers are there like an anglerfish to entice someone, and then the vines take them and strangle them and digest them, sort of like a boa constrictor. And they're like, oh, well, who's taking care of this? Like, why would you do this? And he's like, I just water it at night and we kill people with it. So it's been a while since I've read it. I don't remember the exact ending or what their explanation for why did you lead us to this plant knowing that it would probably kill us.
For fun.
For
Let's
fun.
see what happens.
So if you get a chance to read it, hopefully I'm explaining it correctly and I have the right ending. I have searched through a lot of orchid content, but it's nice to see these little short stories kind of creating these fantastical worlds around these plants, and weaving little universes and lore into them.
Because I enjoy fiction. I love reading fiction. I love it because you can read about orchids and read actual facts about them, but like having fun with it too. Mm-hmm. Like I want to see more of it in the media. I really do.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's out there. I just haven't found it yet, but it's the only thing that I think that I've read so far has been The Orchid Thief.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people in the orchid communities have read that, but it's like, if you really like gossip, if you like a good piping cup of hot tea, there's a lot of stuff in there about that book.
Oh, yeah.
About the nurseries here in Florida. And
as well as The Scent of Scandal, which is a lot of intertwining events with The Orchid Thief.
Oh, yeah. They name drop in that book.
It's good. It's good.
It's good. Because you be reading it and you're just like, I need answers. You just keep flipping.
It's a notation.
But talk more about the one that you said it was a scandal.
Oh, yeah, The Scent of Scandal.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't finished it yet, but I got it signed by the author. He came to one of our Sarasota Orchid Society meetings.
Is he local to here? Is he a local author?
I think he lives in Tampa-ish. I don't remember. But he's really cool. I met him. You should read the book. You can also get on his newsletter, and he just sends weird facts about Florida. They're usually not related to orchids. They're just funny. But that's
Everybody likes fun facts.
I do love a fun fact. But yeah, I haven't finished it yet. But when I do, I'll let you know. I'm in the middle of a couple books right now.
Yes.
Another one that I'm reading is called The Deadly Slipper. But a lot of books with orchids are typically...
You're gonna die by it.
Yeah. Typically it's a crime, usually a murder.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the books I've seen that involve orchids either as a side character or as a main point to the plot, usually somebody is gonna die. I don't know why orchids are so associated with killing, because even with these short stories from the Victorian era, they're like, yes, plant to kill you.
Yes. I think that just comes from like a natural fear of certain plants and knowing like what to eat and what not to eat and what to touch and what not to touch. But I think we were talking about this at dinner, but it was like, why are orchids associated with these murder mysteries and stuff, and why people are like having these grand heist things about stuff. And I'm like, well, orchids are expensive, so there are some pretty expensive plants out there.
Oh yeah, there
like,
sure are.
Like, everybody's invested a lot of money in their orchid collection so far. If you want to, could you imagine if you like went out one day and you just see like the dollar sign and the actual figure of what your collection
I have added it up. I do know what mine is. I will not disclose this information.
Yeah, Tristan and I have talked about it, and I was like trying to do a spreadsheet of the catalog of everything on there, like an inventory
It's
thing.
embarrassing.
It's bad, and you're just like, we can't talk about how we have money problems. It's not.
Yeah, we have money problems, not plant problems.
No, as soon as you see a plant at a show that you've been wanting, all
black hole gone.
Black hole. All self-control is gone.
Gone. Blinded, blacked out, gone.
Gone. Can't do it. No more.
Redlands, dead. Gone. Blacked out.
Redlands, it was bad. I was like, Sandy, hold the cart.
All right. She's going in for the dendrobiums. I'll hang out back here.
Just throwing elbows at orchids in bloom. It was bad.
But you got good stuff.
I did. You were very self-controlled.
I have so much stuff. And at this point, like, I live so close to Palmer that I can just go there. Like, if I want to see orchids, I just go there because they have everything.
Yes.
And everything is amazing and cool and healthy and just so wonderful. And the people there, of course, are so happy and also helpful.
She's just talking about Tristan, so.
Everyone is so nice.
Tristan judges her sometimes, though.
Oh, he has accused me of having bad taste on many occasions. But that's okay. Just because I don't like all plants that are pink. And I guess I have bad taste in flower shapes sometimes.
I smacked him for her, so it's all good.
I don't condone violence.
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. Yes, that's a good transition.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into one major fashion reference that I can think of was in Alexander McQueen collection. I think it might have been around 2020. They made a whole collection based off of different orchids. Some of them were a little bit interpretive. Like they had some that looked kind of like an oncidium. But not like any I've ever seen. But I haven't seen every oncidium in the world, so.
But you ever see something and it just doesn't look quite right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
But they were jewelry, which was cool. And some of them were like really big earrings or like a bangle or a big statement necklace. Some other things that were in the collection were the Phalaenopsis. And it seemed like they were spliced or turned upside down or perfectly symmetrical. And usually it was a combination of black and red. I think also a part of this collection was a silver gown, a couture gown that was extremely beautiful, and the bodice was sculpted to look like a giant orchid. I don't know what kind of orchid it was, maybe a dendrobium. It definitely didn't have that rounded shape like a Phalaenopsis, but it was gorgeous.
Do you have a picture?
I sure do.
Okay. You'll have to send me everything.
Okay, I will.
We're talking about. So you can see too.
I was like ready to. Here it is.
Here it is. Well, do it. Do it. You want to see it now?
Red dress with that inverted symmetrical phalaenopsis.
Ooh.
But yeah, you see what I mean? It's a little interpretive, but it's not necessarily a phalaenopsis. So it could be a dendrobium. Maybe if I had a 360 view of the gown, it would be a little easier to see.
Yeah.
But you can definitely see the orchid influence with the symmetry on the bodice here. I think I heard somewhere once, I forget who said this, but orchids are the only flower that you can cut in half symmetrically only once. So that's a pretty good indicator of what they are.
Yeah.
If you come across one and you don't know what it is.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, usually just down a little. That's it.
And that's it. You're done.
No more.
You're done.
Which you could say the same about people.
That is very true. That is very true. But yeah, don't cut people in half.
I don't have any plans to. Not in the near future, anyway.
Mm-mm. Around Halloween time.
Yeah, you tell him, Bug.
Bug has comments.
He has a lot of knowledge. You think I know stuff? You think Kathryn knows stuff? Ask Bug.
He's an expert, and he's only been on this earth for a year.
Yeah.
So
he's basically a fetus.
He's still a kitten. It's all good. It's all good.
I think in fashion, that's pretty much all I know of off the top of my head. I know in like 2004, another Alexander McQueen dress was made. I'm not sure of the material, but it had a giant pair of oncidiums. What's the Oncidium Alliance? Alcra?
Oh, Aliceria?
Yes,
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Yes.
Probably it was like a reddish, purplish
Yeah.
color. You can buy it for $50,000 if you want. It's out there.
I'm good.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have, well, if money were no object, put it in the car. But yeah, $50,000. It's a little steep. I would want an orchid that I'd really want on a dress for $50,000.
I would want it sculpted and like completely 3D encrusted with gems.
Yes.
That sounds
real gems.
I love a rhinestone.
I loved orchids. I thought it meant something like you were just royalty and you were expensive.
Status.
And just, status thing. And now, like, I love the standard, like, the Phalaenopsis. I think they're beautiful. But when you realize, like, there's other varieties out there, like, how can you not fall in love with a cattleya that smells so good? The big showy flowers.
Yes.
And I remember seeing them used as corsages. They call them the corsage orchid. And I just remember seeing them, and I never thought anything of it being an orchid. I was just like, oh, it's probably like some type of lily or some type of date, like something I didn't know.
Something else that's not an orchid.
I didn't know. But then when you find out, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love that.
They were my second love after Phalaenopsis. I found out about cattleya and I went, whoa, I gotta get one of those.
I gotta get that.
I don't know what it is, but I want one.
I need it. And then you smell bulbos and you're just like.
Honestly, kind of into it.
You and Tristan, I swear.
I tricked my brother real good. We were at a show and I was like, oh, it was like a Wilbur Chang, I think. The really stinky one that kind of looks like Homer Simpson as a plant. And I was like, oh, you should go smell that one. I wonder what it smells like. He went right in.
A big snootful.
Took a big old sniff and immediately gagged and like almost fell down. It was just so funny.
I think it's so bad in the summer Florida heat. Like, it just smells like a dead carcass. It is so nasty.
Oh, when we smelled it, it wasn't quite that bad. It smelled more like sour socks and maybe like a sandwich somebody forgot about.
Yeah, something was going bad.
It was not pleasant.
But it is a really cool flower. I look at it and I think of like the Lorax. Like, he looks like the troll. I love it.
I think of Homer Simpson when I look at it.
I mean, I can see that, but
with
I'm just like...
the thing?
Yes. 100%. It's nasty.
It's pretty nasty, but I do like them. So we did literature, we did fashion, we did... And now we're moving into movies. I'll talk about adaptation as well.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream I was Nicolas Cage last night. I have more dreams where I'm other people than I'm me. That it's weird.
Is it because I said we're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence the other day?
I honestly have no idea. I have no idea. Mr. Cage, I know you're watching. If you're out there and you had a dream that you were a 30-year-old white woman, it was me. Hey.
No, we're thinking about each other.
Thinking about each other. Loved Renfield, by the way. 10 out of 10. Really excited for Long Legs.
I make fun of your faces all the time, Nicolas Cage. I'm so sorry.
Talking about movies, another movie that Nicolas Cage was in, which you may all be familiar with, is Adaptation, which was an adaptation of The Orchid Thief.
Yes.
Really strange movie, unlike anything I've ever seen before or since. Nicolas Cage plays a screenwriter, and he's trying to adapt The Orchid Thief into a play, I believe, or a movie or something.
Yeah.
It's very strange, and he has a twin brother who's kind of lost, and he seems like he's not really good at anything, and then all of a sudden his brother starts writing a screenplay, and Nicolas Cage has huge writer's block. He can't do anything, and his brother is better at it than he is, and they freak out. I've only seen it once, and it's been a while. I should rewatch it, because when I watched it the first time, I wasn't quite as deep into Orchid lore as I am now.
Yeah.
But highly recommend that movie. It's really fun. And you know Nick Cage is in it, so I'm a fan. A movie that has orchids in it, but are not necessarily a focus, was the movie Pride and Prejudice from 2005. And
is that the Keira Knightley one?
Yes. It's the only one.
I love that one. Thank you, because our friendship was at a fork in the road at this point, because it's like, which Pride and Prejudice
Mr.
do
Darcy?
like?
I love you, Lizzie. Most ardently. 10 out of 10.
Mrs. Darcy. So every time I go by a field in the morning and it's all misty, I'm like, where is my Mr. Darcy?
Where is he?
Where is he?
Where is he with his white poet shirt unbuttoned? Where is he?
I love him. So there were orchids in that? Why was I not paying attention? I was too, in love watching him to even care.
He wasn't even in the frame. One of them was at the beginning, and it's when the father comes home, and he is
in his office. I do remember this.
He walks in
God,
carrying this huge slipper orchid that has 2 or 3 blossoms.
I remember that. Okay, hold on.
And talking about Victorian times, I don't know if Pride and Prejudice is set in Victorian era, or is it Edwardian or past that? I'm not really sure.
I feel like it's Victorian, but let me see.
But he kind of comes home and he's carrying
1790s?
Yeah, Victorian. Yeah. So he comes home and he's carrying this plant in, and all of the women are like, "Oh, what are you doing? Where have you been? We have to tell you all updates on these things." And fun fact, this plant was not in existence yet. The plant that they used in the picture, in those frames, it's a hybrid, I believe, and it was not available at the time.
Factual errors. Because you said it was wrong. Mr. Bennett, the dad, first appears holding a plant, an orchid. Given this flower is still very rare in England, and when the book was written, mid-1790s, and the majority of known orchid plants were known at Kew Gardens hothouses. The few specimens that were in public circulation were in the hands of the very wealthy. It is therefore unlikely that Mr. Bennett would have had access to the certain plant. I don't think that they were totally poor.
But they were not slipper orchid rich.
They were, but they were not Mr. Darcy rich either.
Oh yeah, Mr. Darcy absolutely could have had a slipper orchid.
Where was his orchid greenhouse in that movie? Where was it?
You know how expensive it would have been to stage that? That's probably why they didn't have one. Also, no one would have appreciated it. I think I read somewhere that it was like a path singing.
Yeah.
It's like purple and green.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure it had long tendrils. Maybe it didn't, maybe it did. in that. There's the slipper orchid, and then I think there's some kind of oncidium or something that's like in a window. No, it's not an oncidium. Sorry, it's the cochleata. Yeah.
Pistachia?
The jellyfish one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has that. And it actually moves in the frame because you can tell when they started filming that scene and when they continued, the flowers have aged.
Is that it? Hold on. There's the slipper!
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to... Oh my god. It's so blurry, you guys. But it's there. There's two little slipper orchids sitting on his desk. But he does walk in with it. I do remember that happening. He was holding a plant, but I didn't know. I was too busy listening to him.
To Mr. Bennett?
I loved him. You didn't like him?
He's fine.
I'm not attracted to him, but I thought he was a good dad.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I was much more excited to see Keira Knightley and Mr. Darcy.
I love him.
But it's a good excuse to watch the movie again.
I'm gonna have to now and be like, name that orchid.
Name it. I'm sure that there's a lot of other movies that have.
Sorry, you guys. Sandy's lamp tried to fry my camera, so we're trying again.
And it's not even a sun lamp.
get some tan on. That's why her orchids grow well in here.
Yeah. Well, that and the giant window.
But at night. Okay, orchids and music.
Orchids and music. Okay, so I know the song Black Orchid by Stevie Wonder, I believe. Was like one of the first Orchid songs that I could think of. It has been covered by a lot of bands. And there has also been other songs by the same name. I don't know what the significance of a black orchid is. I mean,
rare,
I guess, but aren't they only catasetums that are black? Like truly black?
Honestly, yeah. Like Fred Clark After Dark and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the only black orchid that I can think of. But I guess it is a provocative. It's provocative. A provocative name for an orchid. I mean, an orchid is something that's very precious, and black is a color that's typically associated with, mystery. And orchids themselves do captivate us in every way. And I mean, they have for hundreds of years.
Yes.
I know they have my attention. Yeah, I don't think there's any other orchids that are like really, really black other than catasetums.
There are some Vandas that are really, really black, but they're honestly, like, when the light shines on them, they're like dark purple.
Yes. Like,
but not black. What comes up is, do orchids respond to music?
Yes, they do. In fact, they prefer metal over classical. So maybe that's why my plants do very well, because I'm always jamming out to something crazy in here.
I do sing to my orchids, and they sing back.
I have heard that orchids or in plants, when they're in distress, they scream. But it's at a frequency that is so high you can't hear it. But our pets might be able to hear it. So I can't imagine how loud their worlds must be if they can hear plants shrieking at frequencies that are so high we can't hear them.
Plants are never in distress.
I hope mine are not.
I hope mine are not either, but I know some people that maybe that's why their cats are crazy.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's why Bug gets the zoomies.
He's like, do you hear the voices?
If you like goth music, the 69 Eyes are a great band that I'm a huge fan of from
Do they sing
Finland.
about orchids?
There is one song called Black Orchid.
So original!
It's very good. I have listened to it many times. There's also a song by Black Sabbath called it's just Orchid. Not Black Orchid, just Orchid.
It's just Black Sabbath.
No, it's just Black Sabbath. And it has no lyrics. It's instrumental. It's, I think, on the album Master of the Universe. That's a great album. That song is amazing. I think I would like to go down the aisle to that song. Played by a quartet.
Heck yeah.
A string quartet. Sounds great.
Dude.
And then, like, our outro will just be, like, black metal. Just, like, something crazy.
I love
like
this.
Children of Bodom or something.
Oh my gosh. Everybody has to headbang as you walk down the aisle.
It's kind of painful. I don't like to do that. I usually...
You don't have to, but we do.
I don't probably hurt. Headbanging kind of hurts.
A little bit.
Especially if you're dehydrated. Kind of sucks. On the topic of music, maybe one day I'll breed my own orchids and then I can name them after all the bands that I like.
I think you should.
Or like
100%.
at least people that are in the band would be fun.
You got to get them awarded.
Be like Cattleya, Atlanta, Cultivar, Villavallo. And then I'll just send that to that person and be like, please acknowledge me.
Yes.
I'm your biggest fan. Please acknowledge me.
See, she's not even gonna like name the first orchid after her. She's gonna name it after one of her.
I mean, I might. It depends on what it looks like, honestly.
That was Orchids and Pop Culture. Very different video than anything we've ever done before.
It was very podcasty.
It was very podcasty. So, if you think that Sandy and I should start a podcast,
Oh, I would love that.
we would talk about so many things.
There are a couple podcasts that are actually really good sources of information. One of which I've listened to several times, same episode over and over again. It's called Stuff You Missed in History Class, and this one is Victorian Orchid Delirium. Love that episode. Highly recommend you check it out.
One more thing for you to listen to or read.
It's very good. But if you, I'm very guilty of just like, Spotify, what can I find that has the word orchid in it? And then I'll click on podcast, music, whatever, and usually it yields pretty good results.
Yeah.
I've listened to it several times. It's the delivery of everything is so good. And the information, I'm like, this is from probably so many different sources and it's just all right there. Like that super niche topic right there for you.
I'm here for it. We got to pick Sandy's brain a little bit because she has her arms in a whole bunch of different topics.
Jack of all trades, ace of none.
Thank you for joining a very random segment.
It was great.
We've had sushi and coffee and soda.
That was my second double shot of the day.
Energizer Bunny.
Heart palpitation bunny. But I got a lot to do today.
Good. Thank you guys so much. If you've just stuck around this long, you the real one.
You're a real one.
You're a real one, for real. But seriously, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much to Sandy for all of her knowledge and showing us her beautiful plants and her office. It's very cool in here. I already feel artistic. I feel very artsy when I'm sitting here.
It is pretty cool because it is the coldest room in the house.
I like it. I like it.
Me too.
It's very nice. It's not a terrarium, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is.
Well.
But in like a nice way.
Yeah.
A nice, comfortable way.
That's why they're happy. They like it. Very cool. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. If you liked this video or want more content like this, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. It'll help keep your orchids growing. If you don't subscribe, they may not grow.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might die.
See, her plants haven't died, but she's subscribed. So just saying. But anyway, thanks guys. We'll see you on the next one. Toodles.